Alright, it is time to talk about some Chargers Panthers football, baby. First off, before we get into anything else, I gotta give my flowers to my boy, Quentin Johnston. Dude was a baller out there. It looks like the Chargers actually kind of figured out who that guy is at receiver. They've been trying to put him in a weird, like, Mike Williams 2.0 situation, and that's just not who he is. I think Greg Roman actually watched the film for once. Unlike the past regime with Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley, I think that these guys being Roman and Harbaugh, actually watched film and actually understand who Quentin Johnston is as a football player. He's not going to run up down the field and get you a Moss. Okay, he's not going to do that to a top defender. That's not who he is. Now, he can catch deep balls if he outruns his opponent. He can do that pretty well. He's a speedster. Get the ball in the flat, let him make a play, you know? That's the kind of guy he is. If you watch him at TCU, he did that all the time. I think we're going to see that this receiving core is a little bit better than we originally thought. I think we going into this season, it was like, oh boy, the Chargers, we'll see. You know, they got a new coach with Harbaugh, so you knew they were going to win a good amount of games, but were they going to be able to get it done when they needed it most at that receiving position? Now it's looking like maybe they can. I think they have a good group of guys. Now next year in the draft, should they probably go for a receiver? Yeah. We're going to see a pretty good Chargers team here in the next few years, and Quentin Johnston might be a pretty legit receiver. Now I know this is against the Panthers, so we can't get too excited, but I think Quentin was a good player. I think he did well. So Quentin Johnston, congrats on a great game. Next up, I want to talk about the defense on the Chargers. Oh my goodness. Chargers fans, it's been a minute. We have not had a defense of this caliber in a very long time. Guys, I mean, the fact that these players are actually making tackles in moments where it's a pretty simple tackle and all they need to do is just make it and then boom, it's fourth down. The amount of times that actually happened in this game, I mean, it could bring a Chargers fan to tears. It could bring us to tears, guys. Pretty happy to see that. Harbaugh, you can tell, just the culture's different. I mean, I know it's easier to say that when we're 2-0. But I mean, that's the whole point of it, you know? He came in to win football games, that's what he's doing. So, gotta respect it. Gotta respect Harbaugh, everything he's been able to do, especially on that defensive side of the ball, man. I mean, the toughness is just there now. It was not there. It was lacking in the past few years. There were many times when it was like the game could have been much closer. You could have gotten the ball sooner, and you just miss a tackle. But this game, that was not the story. Last week, that was not the story. There were only a few missed tackles all game. Obviously, we'd like to get those patched up, but you're not going to have a perfect game ever, you know? So, I'm happy with this defense. Love how they were wrapping up. The DBs were flying. D-line was humming. Made Bryce Young have a horrible day. In fact, I believe Bryce Young's not the starter anymore. I don't know if you guys have gotten that alert yet. Just got that a few minutes ago. He's not starting anymore. That's that Chargers defense, baby. Okay, also maybe that was a factor of his play, but Chargers defense did pretty good. Pretty good. And that's all because of Harbaugh and the guys that he brought in himself, you know? So, huge how getting a coach with some notoriety actually gets you somewhere, right? Sorry, baby cow. Just gotta kill your mom in front of you. Hope you don't. No, don't look at me like that. Next up, we got to talk about Justin Herbert. Decent day. Did not like that one interception early. I think he knows that obviously more than anyone. Bad decision on all fronts. I saw what he was looking for in the replay. You can kind of see a little bit of a path that he was trying to take, but you just can't throw it late across the body. Just can't do it. I mean, that's rule number one. He knows that obviously. He's heard that his entire life, but it was a little upsetting to see that. Now I understand. Part of his thinking was probably like, hey, you know, it's the Panthers. You know, maybe against the Chiefs he's not going to throw that ball, but the Panthers might be able to squeeze it in. I know I do that in Madden, you know. When I know I'm playing against the worst defense or I'm playing an easier difficulty, shoot, I'll let that thing fly. I'll see what happens, you know, see if it lands. But in the NFL, you just can't do that. Just can't do that, and he knows that, obviously. Felt like we kind of let them hang around a little bit too long. If this was any other offense, you might get a little bit worried that they could have made something happen. Now, luckily, because of the Panthers, I literally had no fear, I don't think, at all in this entire game. Right after that first drive, I was like, okay, yep, we're good. We're good. This team's not doing anything. And it was pretty clear and evident to see why. That offense is just abysmal. It's just not good. The whole team, horrible. They might not win a game this year, and I wish that was hyperbole, but it's not. They're not good. They're not a good football team. And the Chargers look like they are. So, but yeah, as for Herbert, I think he had a decent day all the way around. That fumble, that was just a weird situation. That he got hit kind of awkwardly. He tried to get the ball out to get an incompletion. It wasn't very good. It was just a bad situation. So that is what it's going to be sometimes. Now, next week, the Chargers got a big game against the Steelers. This is going to be a defense that's going to be pretty intense, but, I mean, it's not like our boys haven't seen a good defense. They just played against the Raiders last week. They know a good defense. They know a good D-line. I mean, we all saw the numbers, Joe Alt against Max Crosby. Got to hope that wasn't a fluke. We'll see how he does against TJ. That's gonna be interesting. Seeing TJ Watt against Joe Alt. That'll be an interesting headliner. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I feel pretty good in terms of our defense. I feel great about how that could end up, because the Steelers' offense has not been able to produce yet. I think Fields is doing his job. He's doing what he needs to do to get wins, but when they start playing against a higher caliber offense like the Chargers have, as opposed to the Broncos and the Falcons, we'll see how good this Steelers team really is. So yeah, those are my thoughts of the game. If you guys got any counter arguments, any arguments that you agree with, anything that you disagree with, let me know. I am a Chargers fan, so this is a little bit more of a Chargers-leaning video. If you're a Panthers guy, I'm sorry. Sorry for your loss. Sorry that you might not win a game all season. But that's just going to be how it is this season. I think you knew that going into it. Maybe next year you can get a Quinn Ewers, Shador Sanders, somebody like that. Best of luck to the Panthers in the future. Just really a shame how this organization has been run. But that's all for my video. I'm going to keep playing Minecraft, and I'll catch you on the next one. And go Chargers!